Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I'm Steve Risser, along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And just like the Open said, your best ability is availability, and that is the issue Thursday night that the Giants are going. The Giants have going into Santa Clara to face the Niners. It looks like Dable hasn't officially ruled him out yet, but it definitely looks like Saquon Barkley is not going to play in this game against the 49ers. And and here we go. So we got week 3 begins, Giants against the Niners. I think this is going to be a competitive game for a half. I think the Giants will carry some of the momentum that they had from the second half of last week into the first half. I think that game will be close. I think the first half will be close, but I think what's going to end up happening is I think in the second half the Niners are going to start to pull away. They're going to get that running game going with McCaffrey. The Giants' run defense is not good. They really, really struggle to run the football. Their run defense. No, I mean, really struggled to stop the run last week. Their run defense definitely was not good against Arizona. I think McCaffrey's going to have a big game. He's going to go for 100 yards. And I think the Niners' pass rush is going to take over at the end against the Giants' offensive line. And that's why I got the Niners winning this game against the Giants. I got them beating the Giants 28-16 on Thursday night. But Justin, can Jones lead the Giants to an upset win on the road?
I don't see that happening. I got the Niners as well, 23-10. Yeah, without Barkley, gonna be a tough task. It took a while for we took 6 quarters for the Giants there to get on the scoreboard to start the season. And for Jones, I think it's gonna be a tough one against that San Francisco defense. Not having Barkley can be the Matt Breida and Eric Gray game in the backfield. They were able in the second half get Jalen Hyatt involved a little bit there, which helped hit some deep shots and kind of open up the defense. But I think the Giants' offensive line too is going to struggle in this game to protect Daniel Jones, and I think Giants are going to have a rough day offensively again to get anything going.
Yeah, the Niners pass rush is not the Cardinals. Is much better than the Cardinals pass rush, and I think they're going to prove it on tomorrow night. I think they're going to be able to get pressure on Daniel Jones, and I think they're going to be able to stop the run too. Even though Saquon didn't have that big of a game against the Cardinals, I think they're going to be able to stop the run. But yeah, the biggest difference in this game is going to be the pressure on the that the Niners are going to get on the quarterback. I think that's going to be the biggest difference in this game than last week for the Giants. I think Daniel Jones, he didn't face a ton of pressure last week, especially in the second half against the Cardinals. He's going to face a ton of pressure tomorrow night, especially if the Giants get way behind in this game. Especially if they get way behind, he's going to face a ton of pressure. We might have lost Justin there, but yeah, it's just going to be a brutal one for Justin. Justin, you good?
Yeah, I'm with yeah.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, Daniel Jones is going to be facing a ton of pressure. If the Giants get way behind, he's going to be facing a ton of pressure tomorrow night. I mean,
yeah, he definitely will. It's going to be tough. Yeah, because even Arizona got some pass rush on him there, and they struggled a little bit. Especially in that first half to really get anything going. So yeah, if in that Niners defense, I know, the Rams were able to kind of move the ball up and down against them. Their offense looked pretty good so far, but yeah, I expect the Niners this week, their home opener, to really get after Daniel Jones, and it's, he does not have time, to try to go deep with like a Jalen Hyatt. He's not gonna have a lot of time back there. So yeah, it's be tough for the Giants. I think, if the Niners are able to get pressure there immediately on Daniel Jones.
So now that we both have the Niners winning tomorrow night. Now the biggest thing is how do the Giants pull an upset? What do they have to do to pull an upset tomorrow night? I think they got to do three things. They got to get the ball out of Daniel Jones's hands. The number one thing is they got to contain McCaffrey, and they got to get pressure on Brock Purdy. The biggest thing in this game for the Giants is if they have any shot to win this game, they got to get a lead, and they got to get a lead by a couple scores. They got to get up by a couple scores and force Brock Purdy to beat him. Because ever since Brock Purdy's been starting, and would have been interesting to see what he would have done in the Philly game. But really, ever since he's been starting, he's never really brought the Niners back from a couple scores. I think he did it once last year. He brought the Niners back from 2 scores down, and that was against the Raiders. And I think Stidham helped him throwing a pick. So the three keys for the Giants, they want to pull it off an upset, is Jones can't turn the ball over. He's got to play really, really well. They got to get the ball out of his hands quickly. They got to be able to stop the run, and they got to be able to get pressure on Brock Purdy. Those are the three things that got to happen for the Giants to pull an upset.
Yeah, for the Giants, number one for me is getting out to an early lead where Daniel Jones can kind of just manage the game, where you kind of keep away from that offense. Give your defense a little bit of a rest, keep McCaffrey off the field, and Brock Purdy, who made a couple mistakes last week. And that kind of leads me to my number two is if you can kind of get pressure on Purdy, make him uncomfortable back there, he'll make a mistake. And, I know he hasn't been picked yet, but, a couple of his throws last week weren't great. So if you can get kind of pressure there on Brock Purdy, make him uncomfortable back there, you might be able to have success. And this is a Giants pass rush that they really haven't been able to do a lot yet so far this year. And, they do got like a guy like Thibodeau. This would be kind of a huge kind of breakout game for him to get something going. Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence up front. So they need a couple of those guys to get going this week. And then number three is, Daniel Jones. And I guess for the offense as a whole, you can't turn the football over. You can't give the Niners extra possession, because if you do, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. They're going to take advantage of that. So for the Giants as well, don't turn the football over.
Absolutely. And you talked about Lawrence, you talked about Williams, you talked about Thibodeau. Lawrence, I think, has done a good job getting pressure. He just hasn't gotten sacks yet. Williams, especially against the run. Williams has got to be better against the run. And Thibodeau has got to be better. He's got to be more of a presence. His presence has not been felt these first 2 weeks. And if he's going to be the number 5 overall pick, he's got to be better than what he is.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And I feel like last year towards the end, he started to kind of get it going a little bit. And then, like the first 2 weeks so far, he hasn't done anything yet. So, he's a guy that coming in, when the Giants drafted him, a lot of hype around him. He was terrific at Oregon. But, there's times at Oregon where he kind of takes some plays off and the effort wasn't always there. And I'm not saying that's the case right now. But, right now, he just hasn't been able to get anything going, up front. If he can kind of be that dominant pass rusher, because, the Giants could really, really, really use that, especially with their schedule coming up. You got a lot of good quarterbacks and a lot of teams that could put up some points. So you really need to get going, right now.
And overall, if this team doesn't play better, if they play the way they played the first 2 games, they were great in the second half, but they played the way they played in the first 2 games, there's a good chance this team's going to be 1-5. This team needs to start playing the way they did in the second half on Sunday. Because if they don't, this team could very easily be 2-4 or 1-5 after week 6.
Yeah, they absolutely could. It was a very slow start. Obviously against the Cowboys game, and then last week against Arizona, where the Cardinals moved the ball up and down the field like it was nothing, and the Giants really offensively in that first half really couldn't get it to sync, and they figured it out in the second half there, and they got to be able to do that because you got Buffalo coming up, you got the Dolphins, and you got Seattle. Like those are three teams that could put up points. I know defensively, Seattle's not great, but those are three teams that the Giants are going to have to put up some points, and especially if Barkley's going to miss some time, you're going to need your offense to score.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Should be a good one on Thursday night between the Niners and Giants. Going to be a measuring stick game for where the Giants are. So it should be interesting to see what happens tomorrow night. But we got to move on to Nick Chubb, and unfortunately, on Monday night he suffered a leg injury and he is out for the season. Really, really unfortunate. One of the best running backs in football. Really unfortunate to see him miss the entire season. This is a big blow to the Browns. And the question is are the Browns a playoff team without Nick Chubb? And I'm going to say no, because Deshaun Watson's not playing well at all. He was terrible on Monday night. 2 face mask penalties. He was awful. He wasn't good in the Bengal game. They won because Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense was worse and the conditions were terrible. And then last night where Deshaun Watson was absolutely pathetic. He was awful last night. And Monday night he was awful, and the Browns lost to the Steelers, and he was just terrible. That's why right now I don't think they are. I know Ford ran the ball well on Monday night, but the Steelers have struggled to stop the run. So I don't think so. I don't think the Browns are. I don't think the Browns are a playoff team without him.
Yeah, I'm with you. The way Watson's been playing, that he's been awful, and the 2 face masks. He even shoved the ref there after one of the face masks calls.
That was awful.
That was bad. He should have been ejected for that. And then he got stuffed too on like a QB sneak too. Like the Steelers did nothing in that game offensively, and Watson cost him the game. And with him, that defense is elite. Which is going to help, but without Chubb, it was a devastating injury. I hope he can come back from that next year, but I think it's the second time he's broke his leg, I believe. So, that's not easy to come back from. But that defense is elite, but I think Watson now, he's been horrible. I think that defense is going to be tough.
All right, we got our boys.
Won't score enough.
We got our boy Xander in the group chat. Before we get to his team, we'll quickly talk about the game the Browns are playing on Sunday against the Titans. And I think this is going to be a close, competitive game, but I'm going to take the quarterback who I think is going to make less mistakes. And I'm going to go with the defense that I think is going to play better. And I think I'm going to go with the team that's going to run the football better. That's why I'm going to go with the Titans. I'm going to go and they're the better coach team. I'm going to go with the Titans to win their second straight. I got the Titans beating the Browns 23-17. But Justin, can Watson bounce back and get the Browns to 2-1?
I think they do find it enough to win this game 17-14, but I think because Tannehill makes a mistake that the Cleveland defense kind of capitalizes on, and they score a defense touchdown in this game. I think Watson will play a little bit better in this game, but I'm not banking on it. That Tennessee defense got a big soft last week against the Chargers, but I think Cleveland, emotional loss the other night, they should have won. I think I know it's a short week, but I think they find a way to slow down Derrick Henry, and I think they put Ryan Tannehill in some tough spots, and the Browns defense is the reason why they win this football game.
All righty. Now we got our guy Xander in the group chat, so we got to talk about the Cowboys. And the game should not be a game this week. The Cowboys should win easily against the Cardinals. I got them winning 34-10. I think it's going to be a big day for Dak. I think the defense forces Joshua Dobbs to turn the ball over a couple of times, and I got the Cowboys winning the game big. I think you agree with me, Justin. So the big question is are the Cowboys right now, because of the way they won their first 2 games, they outscored their opponents 70-10 in their first 2 games. Are they the best team in the NFC? And I'm going to say no. I think it's the team the Giants play on Thursday night in the San Francisco 49ers. And if Xander wants to say something about it, how about beat them in the playoffs? So I think, and listen, as a Giant fan, it's tough for me to talk crap about the Cowboys because we lost them 40-0. But when we ask the question, are they the best team in the NFC? I can't say they're the best team in the NFC. I got to go with the 49ers. I know they've been dominant so far. I know they've been more impressive than the Eagles, but the best team in the NFC, I got to go with the Niners.
Yeah, I like Xander's comment. He's not getting too, I like
look at that. Yeah, Xander's saying, look at this. He's saying that, he's being realistic. He's saying, I'm not impressed yet. 2 dubs versus 2 okay teams. I won't be impressed until we beat a great team. Yeah, that's fair. That's good. That's reasonable. It's very reasonable there.
Yeah, we'll see that in week 5 when they go out to San Fran on Sunday night. That because next week they got the Patriots, which they should steamroll. I don't think the Patriots score against that defense at all. But yeah, right now I still have the Niners up there. Yeah, I was really impressed, and I know maybe the Steelers gave them a little bit too much credit.
Sanders says we are the second best team in the NFC right now. Debatable. You were the Eagles. Debatable. But I'll give you this. You've played better than the Eagles.
Yeah, right now, do I think at the end of the year the Cowboys will be better than the Eagles? Maybe not. But at the moment, I would put the Cowboys ahead of the Eagles because I haven't been that impressed with them. Again, last week, they didn't play well really for 3 quarters, and they kind of, capitalized on a couple of mistakes there, and they were able to kind of beat the Vikings. But yeah, I haven't been too impressed either so far with the Eagles. But going back to the Niners here, though, I know we may have been a little high on the Steelers preseason, but that they were so good defensively against the Steelers, against a team that could be a playoff team. Then their offense has played well. So I think the Niners right now are a little bit better than them, but I wouldn't. In 2 weeks, again, if they can go out there to San Fran and knock them off on Sunday Night Football, yeah, I think, Cowboys will be top of the heat so far in the NFC.
We got to make a deal with Xander. If they do beat them on Sunday Night Football and say they go to 5-0, we probably have to say they're the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, absolutely. They do that, and the Eagles kind of continue to not play great. Continue to play kind of win, but not look impressed. Overly impressive. Then absolutely, yeah. Because again, the expectation next couple of weeks, they're gonna blow out Arizona this week. They're probably gonna beat the Patriots by 2 scores next week, and then yeah. So I would have to put they go to San Fran and win. They would have to be the best team in the NFC at the moment.
Absolutely. We'll see. Let's see what before we get to the Patriots, we'll see what Sanders says. We can only let's see what it say. Let me just put this up there. No, it's not showing for me yet. There we go. We can only base on what we see on these 2 weeks. So you can't fault us because it's only been 2 weeks. No. Listen. I think you've played better than the Eagles. So you have a great argument that you're the second best team right now. And I take San Francisco 1. For me, I'd still take Philly, but you have you're making a very valid point that you guys are better than them so far.
Yeah, they absolutely have. And again, people think that Jets defense is one of the best in the league, and they went up and down the field on them. I know a couple of times they didn't convert and they kicked some field goals, but they went up and down the field against that defense last week. So, Dak's played really, really well. The running game's been, they averaged 3 yards a carry last week, and was pretty good. So they kind of did whatever they wanted against that Jet defense. I know it helped that they, got 3 turnovers from Zach Wilson, but yeah, the Cowboys right now, they've taken care of business. They really haven't played around with their opponents yet.
Oh, not at all. You got to give them credit for what they've done the first 2 weeks of the season. But we got to move on to your Patriots, and they got a humongous game against the Jets. And I think the loser of this game is not going to make the playoffs. I'm pretty confident saying the loser of this Pats Jets game this week is not making the playoffs. So, and I think this is going to be a really, really low scoring game. I think it's going to be a competitive game, but I just can't see Bill Belichick starting 0-3. I know he started 0-3 his first year as a head coach, but I can't see Belichick starting 0-3. And another thing is I cannot see Belichick losing to Zach Wilson. Belichick is 4-0 against Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson. He's 6-0 against the Pats since Brady's left. Now, the Jets have lost 6 games to the Patriots since Brady has left. I don't think there is not a team in the league that has came close to losing that many games to the Patriots. I think the Bills and Dolphins combined have lost half that much. I think they've lost 3 games to the Patriots since Brady has left. So the Jets have lost 6 times to the Patriots since Brady has left. I know those first 2 of the Adam Gase years. Before those were with Robert Saleh, and last year they lost 2 low-scoring games where Zach Wilson played terrible. And I don't think Zach Wilson figures it out against Bill Belichick. I think Bill Belichick has another game where Wilson turns the ball over a couple times. I think it's an ugly game where there's some turnovers on both sides. But I think that the Patriots win this one closing. They hang on. I think Wilson has the ball at the end, and he either turns the ball over and doesn't get it done. And that's why I got the Patriots getting their first win, beating the Jets 20-17. And Justin, the big question is going into this game for the Patriots, will they continue to own the Jets?
Yeah, I think they do. I got a very low scoring 16-13 game. Go down the Meadowlands and knock them off. For me, they got to just come out to a faster start. Again, they had 3 points with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter last week. They have to start faster. And the turnovers, look, and yet again, Douglas with that fumble there in the first quarter, holding the
And
football
here's
like a
the
loaf
thing
of
about
bread. Gets astray.
you mind if I just interject for a sec? Here's the thing about that Douglas fumble. There's no way he should have been benched after that.
Yeah, I agree. Remainder of the quarter, yes. The rest of the game, no, because he's our only dynamic, really playmaker wide receiver. Winner or loser, neither of these two teams.
Oh,
Xander's comment
that's
there.
actually a good point by Xander.
Yeah, I
Winner
do
or
agree
loser,
with
neither of
him.
these
I
teams,
don't
two
think.
teams are making
Yeah.
playoffs. I actually agree there. I think the Jets. I think they might end up coming close to the playoffs, but I just don't think they have the quarterback play, and the Patriots don't have the skill guys or the talent on the offensive line, and the quarterback hasn't. I mean, he's played decent. He's looked better under Bill O'Brien, but he hasn't been good enough either late in the game. So I agree with Xander 100%. Neither of these teams are making the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with him. This Patriot team again. Last week I was kind of excited, but maybe the Eagles just, maybe there's a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover right now for them. And yeah, like Mac again. There's a lot of good, and there's a lot of that turnover he threw in the red zone.
Oh, that was a
the
bad
ball
one.
he never should have thrown. So like, but then he made a couple of really nice throws last week though. So he's got to just finish cleaning up. And look, he had the second highest QBR rating last week, if you want to go by that. So I think there's more confidence. I think this offense, yeah, it's to be a tough week against this defense that the Jets have. But yeah, I don't see it losing this game against Zach Wilson. And look, at some point, the Jets got to go out and make a court. Because I'm like, there's guys last year in this locker room that were wearing Mike White shirts.
Yeah,
like, this thing goes ugly quick.
Yeah, they got to start thinking about maybe like a Carson Wentz would be a good idea. You've heard about trading for Kirk Cousins. Do something to improve the position. Because the position right now is terrible. The position right now is terrible. It's the worst in football. I mean, outside of maybe the rookies, it's the worst in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it absolutely is. I know all offseason, like, oh, he looks better, under Rodgers. I haven't seen any of that. He looks like the same old quarterback that makes the same mistakes, and he can't throw a ball 5 yards. He's not accurate. He can once in a while hit the deep ball, but that's it. Like, he's not great at the short passes. BYU, he didn't really run a lot of that. There's a lot of kind of high powered, kind of 20, 30-yard bombs. So yeah, it hasn't come together. I can't imagine that Zach Wilson has any confidence either, which does not help things. And look, if they go behind Sunday like 10-0, when he takes the field, they're gonna be all those fans are gonna be booing him.
They'll be
like
booing.
He's got zero confidence.
He'll be booing. He's gonna have to go up against a Bill Belichick defense. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
Bill Belichick probably should be fired as the general manager. But it's still, as a defensive mind, he's still one of the best in the game. You saw what he did against Miami last week, playing those three safeties, limiting their big plays. He did a great job in that aspect. The issue with the Patriots is getting players to actually play, especially talent on the offensive side of the ball. That's the issue. It's not. I feel like the coaching is fine. I think the way Belichick will get fired is as the general manager. He's not going to get fired as the head coach. I think he did a great job last week. But the issue with the Patriots is the talent. But going back to Zach Wilson, yeah, if he gets behind against this defense, especially the way Christian Gonzalez has been playing on the back end, Matt Judon's really good. Against an offensive line that's really struggled. It's going to be a lot of problems. The key to this game for the Jets is they got to run the football. But one thing Bill Belichick's going to do, Bill Belichick's not going to let him run the ball. I feel like he's not going to. Just like last year, he's not going to let this Jets team run the football.
No, he's not. And yeah, I'm like Breece Hall and Michael Carter had 4 carries each. And Dalvin Cook too, I think, had 4 carries. It was Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall that both had 4 carries. Like, yeah, they need to feed those two the football. But yeah, with how bad their offensive line is, it's tough. And yeah, I hope the Pats bring in 7, 8 in the box, and that's they should be able to win. And Hackett's on and this offense is designed for Aaron Rodgers, not for Zach Wilson either. They brought in Nathan Hackett for one thing and for Aaron Rodgers, and we know he's not great. And see,
Sanders
comment here.
Let's see. The Jets can't bring in someone because that's an offense that was built around A-Rod. Good point there. It's an offense that was built around A-Rod. To bring in someone to have to learn that offense, just work ride Wilson, get a high draft pick because you keep the first because Rodgers isn't playing in a new exactly. Yeah, that's probably the reason why they haven't brought a quarterback in. Is you can't bring someone else in to run that to run that scheme. So yeah, that's why the quarterback position's a mess for them right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, I think Xander brings up a very good point. And then what the Jets should have done the offseason then is move Zach Wilson to a third string and should have brought in a veteran backup that is more serviceable than Zach Wilson, because this was the one thing that was gonna hurt this team is Aaron Rodgers went down, and that immediately happened. So yeah, there was veteran options out there that they could have gone out and got, and as a second string. So yeah, that's where the Jets I think should have went, but they had confidence in Zach Wilson, and I know it's probably Douglas. Yeah, they should have kept. They could have kept Mike White. That would have been fine. That would have been fine. That would have helped. Again, Mike White getting the playoffs, maybe with that defense, probably, but he's better than Zach Wilson right now.
Yeah, he talked about they should have kept Mike White. That's a good point. Mike White, yeah, a lot of Jets fans love Mike White. He's not great, but as you said, he's better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. That's what's going to hurt this team. And again, because Aaron Rodgers sounds like coming back next year, so I don't know if Sal or Joe Douglas get fired, but I know they want to try to find everything that they try to get out of Zach Wilson to not kind of cut your number overall 2 pick this quickly, but I don't know. That's the only other reason I could see why he's still on this team is because he was second overall pick. Because I don't, it just he's not good. I don't see him getting any better.
After this, and if he keeps struggling, he's going to be gone. He's definitely going to be gone, and they're going to pretty much have a year next year with Aaron Rodgers where it's pretty much going to be, they'll pretty much have maybe this one year with Rodgers where it's pretty much going to be all or nothing. So yeah, Wilson will be gone after. I think Wilson will be gone after this year.
Yeah, they're going to have to. Because they got to do the 5th year option. Yeah, because they're not going to want to keep the 5th year option. So yeah, absolutely, they're going to have to try to get rid of him.
Wilson, bigger bust than
Jamarcus
Russell. I think Russell was a little bit of a bigger. I think he might be.
Russell.
Yeah. Russell was a major.
Yeah, because at least Mitch Trubisky got to a
playoffs. I mean, Sam Darnold's up there. Darnold's up there is one of the biggest busts. But yeah, I think so. I think he might be number 2 overall. Trey Lance is right in that conversation
so far.
Yeah. So I think Wilson might be. I think he might be. I think he is the biggest bust since Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I agree with you. I think so. Yeah, it's not big because I think even right now I take Darnold or Zach Wilson. You'd have to. I think Darnold's a little bit better than Zach Wilson.
That's not saying much, but yeah, it's not saying much, but probably yeah. The crazy thing is, yeah, you probably would take Darnold, which is nuts to say you would take Darnold over anyone. But yeah, I mean, I think you would definitely take him over Zach Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Darnold wasn't great, but yeah, I some of the throws that Wilson makes, I don't know what the thinking is there. So yeah, I know Darnold had his problems too, but yeah, right now I think he's a little bit better than what we've seen out of Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I agree. So, but going back to the game on Sunday, I think the Pats win their 15th straight against the Jets. And I think it's because Belichick's not going to lose to Zach Wilson. He's 4, just like he's 0-5 against Tua. He's just like he's never beaten Tua. He's never lost to Zach Wilson. And I don't think that starts on Sunday. I think he beats Zach Wilson. I think the Patriots get their first win of the year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Patriots I think they figure out, again, they've lost 2 games by possession each, Sundays, Again, I don't know how you reverse that call with Cole Strange if that play stands early in the game with Stevenson, on that, but yeah. So I think the Patriots find a way this week. Again, Mac's probably gonna be under pressure a lot. I think he limited to some mistakes, and I think the Patriots offense finds a way this week. And yeah, they just do enough to beat the Jets for the 15th straight time.
Yeah, it should be an interesting game between those 2 teams. But we got an interconference game in Kansas City as the struggling Chicago Bears take on the Chiefs. And this is going to be a blowout. I think Kansas City, they started to get back on track on offense in the second half last week. I think they do it for the entire game out this Sunday. I think Mahomes has a big game. I think Justin Fields has a couple turnovers. And I think we know that the Chiefs are going to win this game. I think it's pretty obvious. The big question is it over for Justin Fields in Chicago? I think it's starting to come to an end for Justin Fields in Chicago. I mean, he has made no improvement. He wasn't against the Packers. He threw that pick 6 against the Bucs. He's really made no improvement. I think it's coming to an end, and I think the Bears are in for a very long season.
Yeah, this has been ugly, and I don't know if you saw the comments about an hour ago. Justin Fields he was asked why he's been more of a pocket passer, and he blamed coaching. Which is the coaching is not great. Like they called the same screen before that pick six. They called the same screen pass like 3 times in a row.
Yeah,
Like
Xander's right when he says the coaching's terrible. Xander's right
it's
about
bad.
that.
It's bad. Again, the first drive last week, where Fields hit DJ Moore twice, and they went right down the field quickly, and it was like, okay, maybe the Bears got something here, but that was it. They did nothing else the rest of the football game offensively. So yeah, especially with the way this Chiefs defense is playing. If this defense is, they held Jacksonville to 9 points. I got the Chiefs 27-6. I think it's ugly, and yeah, I think it's beginning of the end for Justin Fields, and they got 2 first-round picks this year. So, and this is a deep quarterback class coming out of college. So yeah, I would have to imagine that they'll make a trade here, especially because the Panthers don't look good either. Like they might possibly have 2 top 5 picks. So
one of them should be a quarterback.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be shocked.
Not cutting it right now. Fields is just not cutting it.
No, he's not. I know Fields said too this morning that he's going to be he's going to try to be more mobile and kind of, use his legs more. We'll see, but yeah, him calling the coaching too now, that does not help his cause either.
Not at all. So now we are going to go down the slate of games, and we are going to start with the Falcons and the Lions. And I think it's going to be a competitive game in Detroit. I think Detroit really missed out on an opportunity to be a big boy team last week. I was disappointed in them last week, losing to the Seahawks in overtime. They had some really bad turnovers in that game, but I think they'll clean it up this week. I think they'll play a clean game, and I do think that Ritter will make his plays against the Lions defense, but I think Goff makes more plays in this game. I think this game comes down to the ball in Ritter's hands where he doesn't get the job done. And that's why I got the Lions handing the Falcons their first loss. I got the Lions beating the Falcons 27-20. But Justin, can Bijan Robinson run the Falcons to a 3-0 start?
I think it's very possible, but I got the Lions this one, bounce back at home 24-20. I don't think they'll lose 2 straight games at home. I think they'll bounce back. Yeah, they made a couple of mistakes there last week off. Had a bad interception there late. But I think Goff kind of spreads it around. I think Bijan Robinson was going to have his yards in this game. I know Desmond Ridder came back from comeback last week, or had a come behind win. Jordan Love did not play well in that fourth quarter. But I still don't trust this Atlanta defense totally. I think Robinson has a couple of big runs, but I think Lions kind of stand back in the red zone, force them a couple field goals here, and I think the Lions offense is a little bit too much here for the Falcons D.
All right, we got to respond to our guy Xander about Justin Fields, and he's trying to say, Fields is not the problem in Chicago. Come on now. He's definitely part of the problem. You don't lose 12 straight games as a starting quarterback in this league and not be the problem. Come on now. You are the problem. And he's thrown in 4 of those 12 losses, he's thrown 4 terrible interceptions in the fourth quarter. So you cannot tell me that Fields is not. All right, is he in a bad situation in Chicago? Yes. But the guy is not a top 15 quarterback. Yes, he is the problem. He has not improved. He is not getting to the next level. Yes, he put up some numbers last year running the football. I get it. But yes, he is definitely part of the problem with the Bears.
Yeah, he's not all the problem, but he's definitely a part of the issue right now. He just hasn't really improved, and he hasn't been good. He's never been good at kind of going through his reads. Like he's never been good at processing all that. And again, with that offensive line, it's tough because you got to get rid of the football quickly. You got to make your decisions quick. So part of it's the O-line. They haven't played great, but yeah, they've got the weapons now. They went out and they got to adjust some more. They've definitely tried to improve this offensive line for them as well. And yeah, that defense isn't great. Like during their 12-game losing streak, they're the first team in NFL history to give up at least 25 points in all those games. Like the defense has not been great either, but offensively they've not looked good at all. So is he all the problem? No, but he is definitely a big part of the problem. Yeah, could he be better somewhere else in a different system? I could see it, but right now, yeah, with everything going on here, he's definitely part of it. And again, calling out the coaching, could that turn? That could hurt a little bit in the locker room. I don't know if the players feel the same, that it's all coaching, or is it part? Some of those players maybe feel like it's him why they're losing. Like I definitely think he's part of the problem here. But that offense is not going to keep up with with a lot of the teams that are going to play this year because their defense isn't going to stop anybody.
Yeah, you don't lose 12 games in this league in a quarterback centric league like this. You don't lose 12 games, straight games, and not be the problem. He definitely is part of the problem. All right. Is it all his fault? As you said, Justin, no, but he is definitely part of the problem. So you just cannot say that Justin Fields is not the problem, is not part of the problem in Chicago. He definitely is. And we got another comment from Xander. I think about the Falcons game. Let me see. Falcons win. Lions losing. CJ is going to be. I could see it. I could see CJ Gardner Johnson being a big loss, but the Lions have done a pretty good job containing the run. Why I think the Lions win this game is they've done a good job containing the run. We got another comment from Xander here in the video. He's part of it, not all on him. Yes, I agree with you there, Xander. He's part of it, but it's not all on him. I get it's not all on him, but he definitely is part of it. And Justin Fields is not proving that he's a franchise quarterback. But now we're going in circles a little bit. But going back to the Lions game, yeah, I think that the Lions will win the game because I think they've contained the run. I think they've contained the run. They contained the Chiefs' run game. They contained the Seahawks. They contained Kenneth Walker and the Seahawks. So I do think that they contain the run this week, and that's why I think they win the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they do enough defensively there, and yeah, I just even without Gardner Johnson, they really haven't done a lot trying to. I know they got Drake London a little bit more involved last week, but I'm still not that afraid right now that aerial attack of the Falcons. So yeah, I'm with you. I think the Lions, figure it out. They play well. Good. They play well defensively or against the run, and yeah, that at home, they pull out a victory.
All right, we've got an AFC matchup in Miami as the Broncos head to Miami to face the Dolphins, and I think the Dolphins win this game. I think it's close for a little while, but I think in the second half they start to blow them out. There's a lot of rumors that Russell Wilson could be benched if he continues to struggle. He wasn't terrible last week. I mean, the defense gave up 35 points, but I just don't see this Broncos defense containing the Dolphins offense. Even without Jalen Waddle, if there's a good chance Waddle won't play, even without Waddle, I think they get in the 30s. And I think Russell Wilson turns the ball over a couple times. And this may be the last week that Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos. As crazy as it sounds. So I got the Dolphins winning this one 31-20. But Justin, can Russell Wilson lead the Broncos to a big upset win in Miami?
I don't see it either. I got Dolphins 27-20 or 27-21 Dolphins. What's the worst Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson's?
Horrible. Both contracts are terrible. I don't know if you could. I'd say Watson just because of the guaranteed money, but they're both two of the worst contracts I've ever seen in my life. Quarterback contracts I've ever seen in my life. Kyler Murray's up there too.
Yeah, Murray. That's another one. That's an ugly one too. And good luck trying to trade that out. They're gonna have to eat a lot of that one. But yeah, it's bad. And yeah, I think Russell's played a little bit better here. This year. I thought he had a nice throw there last week to I think it was to Judy there. Or not to Judy, it was
Mims.
I think Courtland Sutton, yeah.
Courtland
Sutton. But yeah, this defense, they're up 21-3, they blew it. And for the Broncos, this is kind of it's like with the Jet Patriot game. If you got any chance here, you gotta win this football game. You can't go to 0-3. I think they come out, play hard. But I just think that Dolphins offense be a little bit too much, and I expect Tyreek Hill to have a big game this week and to be able to find him the football. And and down there in that heat and humidity, Dolphins find a way to win the football game.
Got an NFC matchup. Interesting game in Green Bay as the 2-0 Saints travel to the 1-1 Packers. I think this game is close. I think this game is competitive. But I think the difference is I think Jordan Love makes less mistakes than Derek Carr. I think what's going to force Derek Carr to make some mistakes in this game is going to be the Packers' pass rush. I think their pass rush of Rashawn Gary and Van Ness, I think that is going to affect Derek Carr. And I think you saw on Monday night how the Saints offensive line struggled. I think they're going to struggle again. I think they'll move the ball, but I don't think they're going to score touchdowns. I think they're going to kick field goals. And I think Love makes more plays than Derek Carr. And I think that the Packers score more touchdowns than the Saints do. And that's why I got the Packers beating the Saints 23-19. But Justin, can Derek Carr lead the Saints to a 3-0 start?
No, I'm with you. I got the Packers 23-16. I expect this one, defensive battle here. But I think tough for the Saints here. Short week. You just played on Monday. Got to go back on the road here. Home opener for the Packers. And I think Love plays well enough in this game and does not make a ton of mistakes. And yeah, for Carr, I think yet again, he's under pressure a lot. We saw you mentioned last week, and I think that New Orleans offense really struggles to get anything going. Carr really hasn't been able to hit a lot of guys deep so far, and I think that Packers the defensive line is going to be an issue for the Saints this week, and I think they do struggle, and I think Carr probably makes a mistake or two in this one.
We got an interconference matchup in Landover, Maryland, as the Bills fake on the Commanders, and just to count from Xander, Saints by 10. Better defense versus better offense favoring the Saints. I don't know about that. I just don't think. I think the Saints. I know they won their first two, but they didn't. To me, they didn't score enough in those two games for them to go up to Lambeau to beat the Packers. But we'll see what happens there. Moving back to the Bills and the Commanders, we got the Bills traveling to Landover, Maryland to face the Commanders. I think this is a good game. I think this game is going to be up and down the field. I think Sam Howell and the Commanders offense are going to be able to run the ball with Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. I think that Sam Howell is going to have a good game. They're going to move the ball, but I think Josh Allen's going to do the same. I know they're going to get pressure. They got pressure on Russell Wilson last week in the second half. They had like 7 sacks against Russell Wilson, so they'll get pressure, but I think Josh Allen's going to be able to escape out of it. I think he's going to be able to have another big game just like he did on last week against the Raiders. And I got the Bills in a close one. I got the Bills winning this game 31-23 over the Commanders. But, Justin, can Sam Howell lead the Commanders to a 3-0 start?
Now I get the Bills as well here. I think, the Buffalo's going to put up some points. And, they're going to get Washington's going to get some pressure on Josh Allen. But I think he makes less mistakes in this game. Howell's played well last week, and this team was down 21-3. They were able to kind of fight back, but I think it's gonna be a lot tougher this week. They ran the football. Brian Robinson's been really good so far this year. Running the football, he had a couple big runs last week, but I like I think this Bill team's got a little bit too much talent for the Washington. I think they keep this thing close, but I think Buffalo's just got a little bit too much offense firepower for Washington.
And Xander says, for my sake, I hope the Bills win. Same with me. We both hope the Bills win on Sunday in Landover, Maryland. But we got to move on to a game of two desperate 0-2 teams as the Chargers take on the Vikings. And this is going to be an interesting game. It's going to be really interesting to see these two teams go at it. Both teams have lost 2 one-score games. But I got to go with the team with the better quarterback here. I got to go with Justin Herbert. I think it's going to be a close competitive game. I think it's going to be up and down the field. But I think it's going to come down to the end where the Chargers do have the lead, but I don't think Kirk Cousins gets it done. And that's why I got the Chargers beating the Vikings 31-27. But Justin, can Cousins and Jefferson lead the Vikings to their first win of the season?
It's very possible. I got the Chargers though 31-28. Have the Chargers kind of learned from 2 weeks ago to, have a safety over the top there? Like I could see Justin Jefferson going for 150 yards in this game, and the Vikings they don't want to run the football at all. I expect Cousins to put up a lot of yardage, but I think he makes that one mistake that Justin Herbert doesn't. And I think the Vikings O-line, is able to give him enough time in this game to be able to try to make some plays. But I don't trust this Vikings team right now at all. And I just think, I think the Chargers offense is a little bit better than the Vikings offense, and they'll put up a little bit more points than Minnesota this weekend.
Funny comments Andrew just posted. Vikings win because the Chargers coach will find. You're 100%. You're 100% right about that. He always finds a way to lose games that he should win. Yeah, you're 100% right about that. That's gonna be interesting to see if he does it again this week. You saw him get testy with reporters last week, so yeah. Let me tell you something. He's probably gonna be he's definitely gonna be. If the Chargers don't make the playoffs, he's definitely the first coach who's gonna get fired.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's too much talent, especially defensively. He's a defensive-minded head coach, and there's some talent in that defense. And again, they have not been great. I know they slowed down Derrick Henry. He didn't have 100 yards last week, but absolutely, this is a guy that he used to be so aggressive. And last week, it was 4th and 2 at the Tennessee 41. He punts the ball away. Like now he's so conservative. I don't get it with him. So I absolutely. If the team doesn't make the playoffs, he should definitely go because they're just wasting Justin Herbert's talent right now and that offense talent. Having Brandon Stanley be that head coach.
Absolutely. Got an AFC matchup in Baltimore as the Colts travel to Baltimore to face the Ravens, and I think this is a game that the Ravens should win easily. I think they get pressure on Gardner Minshew or Anthony Richardson, depending on who plays. They force a couple turnovers. I think Lamar Jackson throws 2 or 3 touchdowns. That's why I get the Ravens cruising and going to 3-0, winning 27-10 over the Colts. But Justin, can Minshew, if he plays, lead the Colts to an upset win?
No, I don't think so. I know he's got some familiarity with Steichen's system as they weren't fully together, but I got the Ravens win this one 24-13. I really liked the Ravens defense last week. I thought they put a lot better. I thought Lamar looked a lot more in sync with that offense last week. They put a lot better. And I think if it's either Minshew or Anthony Richardson, I think they're going to struggle. And, Ryan Kelly, their center, might be out as well. So that offensive line isn't great to begin with, and you're going to be missing a big part of that O-line. So I think it could be a rough week for Indianapolis. I know Minshew played really well coming in last week for the injury, but that was against the Houston defense. I expect Minshew to make a play or two, but it's just not going to be enough to keep up with the Ravens offense this week.
Absolutely. It definitely is not. So we got a AFC South matchup in Jacksonville as the Texans take on the Jaguars, and I think this game isn't going to be that close. Even though these are divisional opponents, I think the Jaguars are clearly the better team. I think they didn't get the run game going with ETN last week. I think it's a different thing this week. I think they get the run game going with ETN. I think Trevor Lawrence throws a couple touchdowns throws a couple touchdown passes to Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley. And I think that the Jaguar defense forces Stroud to turn the ball over a couple times. That's why I got the Jaguars winning 30-13 over the over the Texans. But Justin, looks like you got the game closer than people think.
Yeah, I get the Jags 27-20. The Texans always play these guys tough. I know Houston's already battling a ton of injuries. They've struggled defensively, but I think they'll put up some points this week in Jacksonville. That offense has got to get right. I think it's a good week for them to kind of put up some points and kind of look better. They're about to go to London for 2 weeks here. So I think Lawrence plays better this week. Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, I think they'll be able to run the football a bit better this week than they did last week. And again, Jacksonville's got to convert this week in the red zone. They kicked 3 field goals, and again, they got a touchdown on a couple of them. You win that. You might win that football game last week. So big one for Jacksonville. I think it's a good bounce back week for that offense. But I do think CJ Stroud will have some success there. They have played well down in Jacksonville the last couple of years.
And Xander made a good comment. This is the Jags division to lose. He's 100% right. It definitely is the Jags division to lose. I mean, you got 2 rebuilding teams in the Colts and the Texans, and then if you look at the you look at the Titans with Ryan Tannehill, they're maybe an 8-9 win team at best. So yeah, it's definitely the Jaguars division to lose, especially with the quarterback they have right now and the coach they have who won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. They should win this game this division by at least maybe 2 games. So. Yeah, the Jags have all the talent in this world where you got a Titans team that's okay. They're well coached, but yeah, you got 2 teams at the bottom, the Colts and the Texans, that are in rebuild mode, that got rookie quarterback. So we'll kind of see what the future holds. But yeah, for the time being, this division should be owned by Jacksonville. And yeah, right now they should win this division by a couple games.
We got an NFC matchup in Seattle. The Panthers take on the Seahawks, and I think the Panthers, their defense played pretty well on Monday night. So I do think they hold Seattle in the first half. I think the game is close for a half, but in the second half, I think Seattle pulls away. I just think Bryce Young is just too tough an environment for Bryce Young to win a game. That's why I got Seattle winning this by double digits. I got the Seahawks winning this game 24-13. But Justin, can Bryce Young win his first NFL start?
No, I'm with you. I got 23-14 Seahawks winning the football game. Yeah, the Panthers offense right now has not been great. They've struggled to protect Bryce Young. He can't really – there's been no explosiveness to that offense so far, and I don't think that's going to happen this week. I think Seattle's going to get after him. I think it's going to be another kind of tough day. Yeah, I think their defense is going to keep them in it for a half here, but I don't see Carolina having any success, and I'm not a big Frank Wright fan. I don't think he's a great head coach, and I know he's still calling plays. I wonder if they change that up if it continues to go the way it has so far, because their offense just has been great, and I don't expect it to be much better this weekend either.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. That's why I got the Seahawks winning by 2 scores. We'll go to the Sunday night game as we got the Steelers traveling to Vegas to face the Raiders. Let me tell you something. The Steelers have not looked as good as we thought they were going to look Kenny Pickett has not looked good at all. Now, one thing that has been really good for this team has been their defense. Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt, that might be one of the best combos in the game. Those two have been really, really good for them. But I think in this game, I do think that without Cameron Hayward, I think Josh Jacobs will have his best game of the year. I think he'll run the ball really well. But I do think the Steelers will move the ball because the Raiders' defense is terrible. So I do think it's the best game Kenny Pickett's going to play all season long. I think this game is close and it's competitive until the end, but I think the Steelers' defense, just like they did last week, they make a big play in this game. They either force a turnover or make a big fourth down stop. And that's why I got the Steelers going to 2-1, beating the Raiders 27-23. But Justin, can Jimmy G bounce back this week and get the Raiders back on track?
No, I got the Steelers as well, 20-16. I think this is going to be too much of a tough test here against a really good Steeler defense. I think the Pitt defense as well, has a touchdown in this game. Yeah, I think they'll get pressure on them. Yeah, I think Josh Jacobs has a decent game on the ground. I think they have a little bit of success, but I think at some point the Steelers are going to take that away from them. And Jimmy G, the guy under pressure, he sometimes has some happy feet, and I think he'll make a couple of mistakes in this one. And again, it's probably going to be a road game too for the Raiders because the Steeler fans travel really, really well. They're going to invade Las Vegas, so I expect it to be a lot of Steeler fans there as well, which will make it a little bit tougher too for Vegas.
Yeah, as we got a comment from Xander, I blame Matt Canada for the Steelers' struggles on offense. You didn't hear 70,000 fans fire Canada. He's really holding that. You're right about that. Matt Canada has not been that good. You're definitely right about Matt Canada. Yeah, if they continue to struggle on offense and Pickett has another bad year, that's the first guy to go.
Yeah, absolutely, it should be. And I don't think he was even that great of an OC at the college level. Like, I think he had maybe a couple good years at NC State there, but I was never really impressed with his offenses in college. So I was always surprised he got this job. But this is definitely kind of the first guy that's gonna go here if this offense continues to struggle the way it has. Because Pickett has not looked great at all, and they were very lucky to win that game there. They didn't take a snap from inside the 30-yard line the other night. They still won.
That's crazy.
That's yeah. So this thing continues to go sideways. I can't imagine Matt Canada will be here for much longer.
No, not at all, not at all. Now we will go to the Monday night games. We'll start with the Eagles and the Bucks. I know the Eagles haven't played that well. The Bucks have actually played really well for what they've been expected to be. I think it's a close competitive game on Monday night, but I do think the run game, I think DeAndre Swift has a good game on the ground. I think Jalen Hurts plays his best game he's played all season long. And I do think the Bucks hang in there, but I think the difference in this game is Eagles will get touchdown, Bucks will get field goals. That's why I got the Eagles going to 3-0, beating the Bucks 27-19. But Justin, can Baker lead the Bucks to a 3-0 start?
No, I got the Eagles 24-17 in this one. Yeah, like the Bucks, they played well against a bad Vikings team. They took advantage of that. They played a bad Bears team last week. They took advantage of another bad defense. I think the Eagles are going to make Baker Mayfield uncomfortable this week. I think he's going to make a couple of mistakes. I don't think the Eagles blow him out. I got to see the Eagles kind of do that right now. We've talked. They haven't really been that impressive so far. So I think the Bucks do keep this game close. I think their defense will keep them in it. But I think Baker, he hasn't made any mistakes so far this year, but I think he'll make one or two this week against that Eagles defense.
I think so too. And of course, Xander, this is shocking. Bucks in the upset. Of course, he's hoping the Bucks upset, but that is unlikely. That is unlikely on Monday night.
Yeah, it is. Bucks have played. Bucks have been 2-0 so far, but yeah, this is their toughest test here. And yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to knock off the Eagles this week.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. All right, we'll wrap up talking about a rematch of Super Bowl 56 between the Rams and the Bengals. I mean, with the issue with the Bengals is Joe Burrow 100%? I don't think he is. I think it's negligent of Zach Taylor to do this to him. I think he should have known what the situation was. He should have sat Burrow the first couple of games of the year and made sure he's healthy, because you could risk playing Burrow now, you could risk losing him for the entire season. So a major mistake by Zach Taylor to play him early in the year. I think they do trot him out there on Monday night because they're desperate, and I do think they get the win. I think they win the game. I think he even banged up, because they showed some promise last week on offense in the second half. I still think banged up Joe Burrow plays pretty well. I think he gets the ball to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I think this is a close competitive game at the end. I know Matthew Stafford has played well, but I just don't think the Rams have the talent to go into Cincinnati and win a game like this. That's why I got the Bengals winning at 23-20. Yes, the same score of the Super Bowl. I got the Bengals winning 23-20 over the Rams. But Justin, can McVay continue to have McVay continue to have his way against Zach Taylor?
Yeah, I got the Rams 21-17 this week. I'm predicting that Burrow does not play. You were right last week. You said, when he was hurt, he definitely was. He tweaked it last week, and I can't. It doesn't seem like he's, he might play, but I don't think he's be 100%. And I'm not confident he could go out there and play well enough right now. He has not looked good out there. He hasn't looked right. That offense was really struggling there. I know they kind of figured it out there a little bit towards the end. But the way Matthew Stafford's been playing, I think offensively the Rams do enough. Tutu Atwell has another good game. And Puka Nacua has another solid game there, and I think they do enough to knock off Cincinnati. I've really been impressed with the way the Rams played, and look, if there's a couple injuries defensively, I don't know the depth that they're going to have to kind of replace that, but if guys are healthy out there, I think the Rams can win this football game.
Xander knew who that guy was, Puka Nacua. He's a fan of him. And then he talks about the Bengals schedule, the next 4 weeks being a gauntlet. I don't know if they're a gauntlet after that. At Tennessee, that's a tough one. At Arizona, they should win that. Seattle at home. If you want to be a playoff team, that's tough, but it's winnable. The 49ers, Xander has a point. Then the 49ers and Bills, those 2 weeks after their bye. After their bye, it's definitely a gauntlet there with the 49ers and Bills. So, the Bengals got to start winning games because they don't want to be going into that Week 8 matchup in San Francisco 2-4. They want to be going into it at worst 3-3.
Yeah, absolutely, and because Tennessee on the road, that's not going to be an easy one with that defense. Arizona is a game that you should go down there on the road to beat, and Seattle at home, Seattle could put up some points with you, and Pete Carroll's really good at playing the 1:00 games. I forget what his record is, but he usually has his team ready there for an early kick. For West Coast teams. So it's not gonna be easy a couple of weeks here for the Bengals. And it's a game they gotta win, but Jake Browning goes out there and plays. I think the Rams will find a way to knock them off. So it's a huge one, especially too, because they're already 0-2 and 0-2 against the division as well. So they're already behind the 8 ball there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they better start winning games or Zach Taylor's job is definitely going to be on the line. They definitely got to start winning games in Cincinnati. But that's going to wrap up. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Sports Talk with R&J. For Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. But we will be back in about 5 minutes talking about if the Colorado Buffaloes and Deion Sanders can stay undefeated, and the rest of the excellent slate of college football in Week 4. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you tune in for that in about 5 minutes.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part.
Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. You're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting ClovercrestMedia.com.